Welcome to the True Tomorrows podcast. Are you ready for another cool weekly science fiction probe? We're going to dive into some wild galactic tales from flash fiction, presented in a fun and entertaining way, like blockbuster sci-fi films or best-selling epic short stories. Remember to rate and follow for more captivating True Tomorrows. This time, you've brought us not one, but two fantastic flash fiction stories that take us right to the cosmos: Cinderella in Space and The Space Mermaid. What really struck us about these is how they both take familiar story ideas and launch them into these incredible science fiction settings.
Exactly. When you shared these, I thought it was so cool how these classic characters we all know, they find this whole new life in such creative settings. Let's start with Cinderella in Space. It's a classic rags to riches story, but this time it's set against swirling nebulas and these bustling space stations.
I know, right? You've got Cinderella, but instead of an old manor, she's living a life of servitude on a space station. Right away, you get that cool clash of the familiar and the futuristic. But just like the original story, she gets a chance to go to this big, fancy event, the Galactic Ball. And of course, there's a prince, Prince Stellaris. It's so cool to see how these classic roles are playing out in this totally new sci-fi world. What do you think?
I think what's really fascinating is how they've reimagined the fairy godmother. Instead of magic, Cinderella gets help from this mysterious AI that her late father created.
That's such a cool twist.
It really makes you think about how technology could step into roles that we usually think of as magical or supernatural. Does this change Cinderella's journey? I don't know. It's definitely something to think about.
Definitely. And this AI doesn't just conjure up a holographic gown and a sleek spacecraft, which, by the way, sounds amazing, but it's also linked to this digital locket that her father left her. This locket isn't just a sentimental thing. It actually becomes super important to the plot because when Cinderella loses it at the ball, it sparks this huge galaxy-wide search. It makes you realize that even small personal items could be hugely important in a technologically advanced future.
Yeah, it makes you think about legacy and how technology might let us leave a lasting impact, you know? The idea that a father's love and his wishes for his daughter could be encoded in a device that continues to affect her life even after he's gone. That's a pretty powerful idea.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not all just romance and futuristic ball gowns. This story throws in some unexpected twists. The locket isn't just some pretty piece of tech. It has a real purpose. And then suddenly, there's this unexpected danger that erupts on the space station. The story goes from this fairy tale search for a lost princess to a situation where everyone's in danger. What did you think when you first read that? Did you see it coming?
No, not at all. It totally changes how you see the story, right? It takes this familiar fairy tale structure and adds that suspense and unpredictability that you often find in science fiction. It's like a reminder that even when we think we know the story, the future can always throw us a curveball.
Okay, so we've explored the stars with Cinderella. Now, are you ready to go under the waves? Ready to explore some icy alien oceans with The Space Mermaid?
Let's dive in.
Perfect. Forget what you think you know about mermaids. Marina is a space mermaid living beneath the frozen surface of an alien water world called Thalassa.
You've got mermaids, but they're in space. It's such a cool blend of fantasy and science fiction, right?
It really is. You immediately want to know more about this world, right? How did mermaids end up in space? What's their society like? I know. What I find really interesting about Marina is that she's not just some mythical creature. She's super curious and has this adventurous spirit. Even though her father, the ruler of their underwater civilization, warns her about the dangers of space, she's completely fascinated by the stars. It's that classic human desire to explore beyond what you know. Do you feel that? Like that pull of the unknown?
Oh, absolutely. And it's that curiosity that leads Marina to rescue a stranded human astronaut named Elias. That's a key moment in the story.
Yeah. Elias becomes her link to the wider galaxy. He tells her all of these amazing stories about different planets and civilizations. Can you imagine? It'd be like seeing a whole new reality, and suddenly your old life feels so small.
And that's where the conflict with her father comes in, right? He represents tradition and safety, while Marina represents this urge to explore and discover new things. It's a dilemma that a lot of people face, I think. Do you stick with what you know, or do you take a risk and step into the unknown?
And Marina, fueled by this desire, makes a bold decision. It's another twist on a classic idea. Instead of a sea witch in our oceans, she goes to the sea witch of the Nebula. And you know what she trades? To be able to travel among the stars?
What's that?
Her voice. Think about that for a second. A mermaid, a creature of the sea, giving up her voice. It's a huge sacrifice.
It really shows how much she wants to see the galaxy. Her voice isn't just how she talks, it's probably a big part of her identity, how she connects with her people. It's like giving up a part of herself.
It's a massive turning point in the story. And after that, she goes on this incredible journey across these strange alien planets. But she's totally silent. She can't speak or sing. It's like she's exploring a whole new dimension of experience.
And it makes you wonder, how does that silence affect her? Does it make her more observant? Does she find other ways to connect with the beings she meets?
Great questions. And all of this leads to her facing this cosmic entity, the Dark Star. This isn't just some small-time threat. This is something that could destroy the entire galaxy. It's definitely not your typical mermaid story.
And what's really interesting is that she doesn't defeat the Dark Star with brute force. It's more about understanding, about making a connection. It makes you wonder about different ways to resolve conflict, especially on a cosmic level. What if empathy and understanding are more powerful than weapons?
These two stories, Cinderella in Space and The Space Mermaid, even though they're totally different in terms of their settings and their plots, both explore these big themes. Destiny, courage, and that longing for something more. It's amazing what these writers have done with such classic ideas. What a fantastic science fiction probe into these true tomorrows.
They were great stories, from the Galactic Ball to these alien oceans and the vastness of space. These stories have so much to think about. They both show how powerful dreams can be and how much courage it takes to chase them, even when you're facing impossible odds.
For sure. In Cinderella in Space, we see this idea of destiny being programmed into a digital locket. It makes you ask, what does destiny even mean in a future where technology is so advanced? And do we have any control over our own lives, or is it all predetermined? Plus, there's that unexpected threat on the space station. Was that just a coincidence, or was it somehow connected to Cinderella's new life? What do you think?
It's interesting to think about. And then in The Space Mermaid, Marina gives up her voice to explore the galaxy. It makes you think about all the different ways we can communicate and make a difference in the world. And her final confrontation with the Dark Star, where she uses understanding instead of violence, is a really powerful image. It makes you wonder about the role of empathy, not just in our lives, but on a cosmic scale. What do you think was the ancient wisdom that allowed Marina to connect with the Dark Star?
That's a great question to ponder. Even though these stories are short, they take you to these incredible universes full of wonder and danger. I hope this science fiction probe got your imaginations firing and maybe made you think about your own place in the universe. What parts of these stories resonated most with you, and what other amazing stories are out there waiting to be discovered?
If you enjoyed this science fiction probe, don't forget to rate and follow the True Tomorrows podcast for more cool weekly explorations into the future, and keep sharing your favorite sci-fi stories. We love hearing them.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.